Hi friends, welcome to Rock Paper Suburbs. Today I wanted to talk about New Year's resolutions. Now my husband always has really funny New Year's resolutions and he always sticks with them. One year he decided to throw away his socks with holes in them. Another year he decided to try a wider range of Chick-fil-A sauces. Another year, he resolved to play his electric guitar more. And it's so funny. Everyone laughs because everybody thinks that a New Year's resolution has to be this really big, serious, character-changing thing. And yet, really, most people don't end up sticking with them. I heard on a podcast recently, and I don't know where the person got this statistic, but he said in his research, he had heard that 91% of New Year's resolutions end up falling by the wayside. And it got me to thinking, what makes a resolution stick versus what makes a resolution not stick? And I'm gonna fold some laundry while I'm talking today because as much as I would love for my New Year's resolution to be keeping up with laundry, I know that's not going to happen. And don't forget to subscribe because we are going to be talking about all kinds of life stuff in the new year, and I hope that you'll be there to join me along the way. I have always been very cynical about New Year's resolutions, and I have rarely made them. For me personally, I can tell you that I have never stuck with something that felt arbitrary. So if I resolved to do something because it was January, I probably just wouldn't do it because it would feel like there was an external pressure to do it instead of me resolving to change something internally. I've never been able to make a change that wasn't internally motivated. And when I think back to any time that I had a goal and stuck with it, it was more like I just woke up one day and decided I'm going to change such and such a thing, and this is what I'm going to do. And it was not driven by something like it being the new year, which to me always felt pretty arbitrary. So I was thinking that in addition to a New Year's resolution being achievable, I also think it's a great goal if your New Year's resolution has some kind of meaning, because I feel like that would help me personally to stick with something better. I know some people do a gratitude journal. I've also heard of people every day doing a gratitude social media post, and that way your gratitude spreads to other people and also holds you accountable because people can see that you're doing it. One thing that my husband and I did as part of a date night in, it wasn't a New Year's thing, but it was an activity for couples, and it was as simple as a dry erase board, and every day for a week you would write on that board something that your spouse had done that you wanted to say thank you for. It could be something as simple as thank you for unloading the dishwasher, thank you for watching the kids. It could be something bigger like thank you for always working hard, thank you for always being there for us. And it actually got us in the habit of just saying thank you more often. I know it sounds crazy that I didn't say thank you to my husband that much. I didn't even realize that I wasn't saying it until I actually had to write down the things that I was thankful for. And so it got me in a much better habit of actually acknowledging out loud to my husband the things that he did that I appreciated. I know when it comes to the new year, a lot of people resolve something having to do with their health. It might be getting into shape. It could be eating more healthful foods. The possibilities are endless for New Year's resolutions related to health. And although I never had a New Year's resolution having to do with weight or health in general, I will share with you a story about a time that I resolved to lose a lot of weight when I was a different size, and it has nothing to do with weight. So I had babies, I had been nursing, and I had gone through some health things in between the pregnancies. I won't go into the details here, but if you go to the Rock Paper Suburbs YouTube channel and you see my video about surprising postpartum weight gain, you can see my story there and what was going on at the time. So I was carrying around what I would call energy sucking weight. I didn't really care about what I looked like, and I really didn't care what other people thought. And when I was growing up in the 90s, there was almost an expectation that you should care what other people thought about your body and about your weight. And like I said, those external pressures, they never worked for me. I was never motivated to want to take care of myself based on other people's expectations. It had to come from me. It had to be internal. And as I said, I had to get some health problems resolved. And once I did, at the time I was so focused on taking care of my kids because I had 3 little ones. And as any parent knows, it's very hard to think about yourself at all or take care of yourself when you have a young family that you're taking care of. Initially, I just went a long time carrying around all the extra weight. And I seriously did not like the way that it felt. I felt like I just didn't have the kind of energy that I had in my pre-baby body. I felt that I didn't like the way that my clothes fit as well, and I was not in the greatest place emotionally because I felt like I was living in a different body than I had had before I had kids, and it was a reflection of a broader feeling that I had become a different person than I was before I had kids, and I didn't like that. I felt like I had lost myself and who I used to be. And one day, I was on social media and saw a picture of an old friend who was in a picture with her 2 children. And they were smiling. And the thing I noticed about this other mom, it wasn't what she looked like, it wasn't what she was wearing, it wasn't how much she weighed, it wasn't her clothes. The thing I noticed about the other mom in this picture was that she was happy. And I decided I have to figure out what is something that I can do so that I can feel that kind of happiness. One of the things that I quickly realized was that I was unhappy living in my body as it was in its current state at that time. And anyone who has had children and nursed infants knows that this is a common feeling. I know that I'm not alone in how I was feeling at that time, but the change internally for me was very motivating. And the first thing that I did was that I took a look at my wardrobe, because like I said, I often didn't like the way my clothes fit, and it would just give me an icky feeling when I got dressed. So I had held on to a lot of clothes from prior to having children. A lot of them were clothes from my early to mid 20s, and I hadn't worn some of them in a very long time. Even if I still liked them, if they didn't fit me anymore, I decided that it was time to donate them, because I felt like by keeping them, thinking maybe one day I'll get back into this, it ended up getting me in the mindset that I was supposed to go back in time to who I was before. And I realized I needed to get rid of the burden of my old clothes that no longer fit in order to move on to being the person that I was supposed to be today and to work on the person that I wanted to be for the future. So I donated any clothes that didn't fit me anymore, even if they were in good condition. And the next thing that I decided was to just get started taking better care of myself. I did not have a special diet. I didn't cut out any special food groups. My approach was simply to keep track of everything that I did. So I kept track of all of the calories that I consumed. I had never counted calories, but now with apps, it's so much easier. So I just used an app and I kept track of everything that I ate or drank, including water, just to make sure that I was really drinking enough water every day. And the result was that in a few months, I had lost 26 pounds. And like I said, I had no special diet. I didn't do anything fancy. I just weighed or measured everything that I ate, which now I really don't think I'd have time for. I know that that is a very time-consuming activity, but I just tried to stick with it. And if it was a special occasion, like if we had a holiday or we went to a social event and I ended up eating more than I thought I was going to that day, the next day I would just start over. I never just threw in the towel and said, that's it. I always woke up thinking, tomorrow's a new day and we're going to start fresh today. I kept track of my exercise and estimated the calories that I would burn anytime I did some kind of a physical activity. And my goal was to net between 12 and 1300 calories a day. I know as a woman, you're supposed to get at least 1200 calories a day for normal body function. And I tried to always make sure that I got enough protein because I didn't want to lose muscle. So I tried to just stick with some really basic health guidelines and stay the course. And one of the things that I also made sure of when I got started was ensuring that any goal or any approach that I had was based on my overall health and happiness. Because as anyone who grew up in the 90s will tell you, the focus when I was growing up was not so much on people's holistic health, but rather on the number on the scale. And that just seemed actually overall very unhealthy, and I was very uncomfortable with the idea of focusing too much on a specific number. And I'm really glad that things have changed because I would rather be strong than skinny. So I resolved to be a happier and a healthier person holistically. And so what was the end result? The end result was that I felt so much better. I felt like I had so much more energy. I felt like I was so much more able to care for my children. And I felt more like the person that I had been before I had children. And that's not to say that you should want to go back to being the exact person you were before you had kids, because realistically that's not going to happen. And for most of us, we wouldn't even want that to happen. We want to become more mature. We want to gain more life experience. So I didn't mind that I was older and now had mom experience. I saw that as a positive in my life, but it taught me the value in seeing my own value and giving my personal goals a purpose. Because if someone else had imposed that goal on me, I would have never wanted to do it, and I probably wouldn't have stuck with it. So in the new year, I'm still not sure if I'm gonna have a New Year's resolution this year. I will be happy, I think at this point, just to keep the household running. But if you have good suggestions for achievable New Year's resolutions, I'd love to hear them. If you have serious resolutions or if you have funny resolutions, I would love to hear from you. So please share your ideas in the comments. And I'm excited to see what my husband comes up with as a New Year's resolution, because his are always pretty entertaining. I want to wish everyone a happy new year. I want to tell you how grateful I am for all of you who have joined me here this year. You make my week when I hear from you, and I wish everyone all the best and a happy and peaceful new year.